मोड़ के आगे दो दो पथ हैं, कौन से पथ पर कदम बढ़ाऊं, कौन से पथ पर जाऊं. One of the paths is the easy path, and I know that I'll get somewhere, etc. The other path is the difficult path, and there's no guarantee. And then you justify it, you rationalize it by saying, oh, I'm taking this easy path only because actually I want to take that other path. It really is amazing how hard it is sometimes, but certainly I can speak for people in theatre, to figure out what are the core values that would give us that invisible boundary line that we would never cross. What are the non-negotiables? And that's some of the stuff that we are trying to get at through the SMART program.
I think that the basic aim of this seminar is to free them to dream more ambitiously, but to find the best possible strategies, kind of collaborative strategies or strategies through networking or linkage strategy like intersectorial, because rarely they're collaborating with some other type of organization. So I think these 10 days or 12 days has really to enhance them to think strategically and to find solutions which are not ready-made solutions. It has to derive from their strengths but also opportunities in their environment.
Theatre fundamentally is a very local art. Okay, it is located in space. It's also located in culture, and it's located in language, and located with the people it plays to. In the arts, the bottom line is about the value of the artwork. Is what you do in the world, what impact the artwork has in the world, what meaning it carries, and that's what you strive to make. So, can we take people through a process where you have time to reflect on the work that supports the creative work, in a way that strengthens your ability to manage your work, in a way that also makes you more time effective and you can give more time to your creative work.
A one-off project can always be done, but if you want to do sustained work, then you have to develop certain strategies. The idea of this workshop is really to help with that. If you were to apply certain basic systems to it, it would make the work much easier and much more efficient, and actually free you to do the kind of creative work you want to do. That's why most of the people who are speaking and the facilitators are actually people with a fair amount of theatre experience and who think about theatre as a larger idea.
It's a course that tries to develop the larger theatre ecosystem and to evolve thinking around this question in the field of theatre that is both homegrown as well as that tries to incorporate some of the best international experience, which is why it's very important for us to bring together theatre groups rather than individual theatre managers. So there's this whole wide, range of the kind of theatre groups we have here.
I think what it will do is it will give us such a sense of just being connected and having a shoulder to lean on, and I think that's really important, because it's just 10 days and then it's 6 months of staying connected through a mentorship program, and that's really valuable, because now what you have in these 10 days is a bombardment of information. Your senses are like completely exploding with all these new ideas or old ideas revisited, and then you go back to your theatre group and you have to share this experience. You have a safety net to fall into, and I think that that's really valuable.
If we want to grow larger in the context of content, in our language, in reach, so we need to sit and think something on the administrative front. We keep on thinking about the creative front, how the play should be, but till this workshop we have never thought about how things should work.
The administration and management we've learned on the way, we've applied from other aspects of our lives, and that's how it's been developed. But to get an opportunity where you can see other groups, management, practices, systems, that's a great opportunity.
If you look at the range of groups in there, our concerns are so different. But at one level, we're all trying to do the same thing, which is to do theatre.
At the very least, we're going to be in the same space as about 16 other theatre groups from around the country, and that never happens.
all these groups are very independent units that are figuring out stuff on their own, figuring out processes on their own. And we've always wondered where could we find academic interaction where we could talk about practices, share them and share pitfalls and journeys and how we've overcome difficulties.
If you talk about group sustainability, audience building, I think we are pretty much safely placed in that. But if you talk about, for example, financial management, accounting, administration, maybe this 10-day workshop could really help us to gain something in that direction.
The first session is on vision. What is your vision? Why do you do the kind of play you are doing? Does it feed into a larger idea of theatre that you have, or is it just because, oh, I like the script?
Consider what you think are your basic values and beliefs. It affects your relationship with your audiences, with the work that you actually do.
We exist because we want to make the kind of work that we want to see.
It should be a collective work, so it is not moving around one person. We exist because there is the issue of discrimination, I guess, of injustice.
Theatre requires people. So how do you keep people with you as the creative core? How do you keep people with you who are invested in your company so that they can help you take your vision forward?
Okay, but when you guys talk about a group of misfits come together or people coming together, there is something that draws you guys together. And I would urge you to ask, what is the human value that draws you together?
Who do you communicate with? Why do you communicate? And what do you communicate? To look at it from the point of view of the person who is being communicated with.
We have to gain the confidence in ourselves to say, yes, it does matter. And it matters to you as much as it matters to me. And that's what makes the world just a better place to be in.
The only thing that earns money is corporate things, so let's do more, let's do more, let's do more. Before you know it, that's all you do.
Because really in this space, money is not the driver, it's the facilitator. And it's how you engage with money and understand both the value it brings but its place in your life.
To enable each of these groups to recognize, identify the opportunities that lie around you, and then be able to engage with those opportunities and create resources out of them.
Part of my challenge in the administration section is going to be just to share the value of that pre-process. And that's really, I'm saying upfront, it's my challenge. If I can get people to see that there's value in pre-planning, I don't care how they plan.
And mostly what you try to do is to break that. And IFA wants to support that breaking.
I want to get at some essential questions. What we put on, who we speak to, and what happens in that communication. As arts managers, as theatre managers, we all know what it is to hear an audience. So where is that response?
It's about experimenting with audiences to try to see what happens to the process of producing when audience is involved in the planning, in deciding, in having a part in this, not only as attenders.
I am Faisal Abul Haja. Abul Haja Tsar, you can say just Faisal. I'm an actor and drama teacher at the Freedom Theatre in Geneva, Virginia.
So you'll be doing that for these 7 days, and then days 8, 9 and 10 will be days where you sort of bring all that together and start building your strategic plan, right? Start focusing on your work and the kind of strategies you want to use and how do you plan to implement those things. So that leads into a mentorship period. The next 6 months, each group will be assigned a mentor. There'll be a touch point of say once a month. There'll be milestones the group and the mentor will set together. And the mentor will become sort of a sounding board or provocator to help the group move from step to step. At the end of it in August, there'll be 2 days where we'll all come together and we'll actually share our work together. And then we'll party because we have to celebrate that we've done this, right?
So after the 10-day foundation workshop, so we were sort of enlightened and also a bit confused. But we wanted to go back to our team and then explain to them what we have learned and then bring them on board, which was a huge challenge. So because to put across such 10-day worth of data and information that we have gained across to them and make them to start thinking on those lines was a big challenge.
With the mentorship program, which meant that every month we needed to get this much work out of the way, it also made sense how to put something across to them and what to aim working towards. It just helped. It became seamless, and you sort of expected what was coming next.
The role of leadership has changed. So there's several more leaders who feel that these particular things need to be done, and that changes how you do things. Rather than you're told to do something and you do it well, or to be able to make decisions on the spot or adapt to a situation, because actually you're looking at a far longer term thing than just I'm doing what the director has told me.
For where we are right now as individual artists and where we've come together to be a company, we have a rooting which has made a lot of decisions easy for us.
And also one big thing I think that's happened with this whole SMART program is that there's a very strong feeling of community. Like there's already been like collaboration with the Hato. We're talking to tadpoles about something. Like it's just nice to get out of your own little kuan,
स्मार्ट ने जो मुझे चीज़ें बताई उससे बैक स्टेज अपनी कर्म कुंडली बना सकता है कि आगे क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, कितना होगा, कब होगा, हम अपनी कर्म कुंडली में देख सकते हैं. इसे बनाने का विज़न, नज़रिया, तरीका स्मार्ट ने दिया है.
Some of the groups that I've been talking to or working with are really grappling with very basic issues or concerns of vision and where they're going, and their key concerns of how do they build their group and their institution. And for them to go back and work with their team and to discuss these ideas is really interesting, and to see those shifts happening in how perhaps maybe some of them will implement some of these learnings today or in the next few months, but I feel there's a lot of them that will implement them, say, in the next year to 2 years.
It would be interesting to see how the SMART as a program impacts the journey of these groups in the future. I think to do that we'll have to kind of track these groups at in some way. But I think what it's given them is a kind of starting point. Now it's we all make plans, we all make New Year resolutions, and then we forget about them. So it would be interesting to see when we re-engage with these groups, whether they've actually been able to take these plans forward, and that's something which only time will tell.